Okay, hello, I'm Jürgen. I'm one of the initiators of Freifunk.net, and I will have a short talk with Marek, which I would like to introduce to you. Marek is one of the Batman developers. Batman is a meshing protocol, and we both have recently been in Taiwan, more exactly in Taipei, on a 5-day conference on open technology and open hardware.
Yeah, I went to Taiwan 3 months ago to prepare this event. When I went there, there was no event, even no date for the event, and during the last couple of months we organized the dates and sponsors, interested people and everything. And I invited Jürgen to join us there, to talk with the people, to give a talk there, and to get a feeling for Taiwanese culture, which is quite different. And I hope that Jürgen will share some of his experience with us. So, what is your main impression after this conference?
Yeah, we started, or my intention really to go there was because of hardware issues. As we are dealing with wireless community networks for many years, we have realized that opening up the hardware or running open source software on top of that is really key to community work all over the world. And so my approach was to get there and just tell the people, why don't you open up your routers and everything and let the open source community develop for you. And Marek, on many talks we had on the preparation, stated, hold on, I mean, maybe you are a step too far. Many of these people have never heard of the open source concept, and so I think it was a very good idea of him to open up this conference and not only talk about open hardware, but to really give a general introduction about open source software, community work and open source culture. And I think the cultural issues are really a great difference. I mean, Marek has told me a lot about that before I really went there, but being on the ground gives you a much better impression of what he was talking about than what I heard in the beginning.
The Chinese way of thinking, Chinese way of working is quite different, and Taiwan has been in the manufacturer area for 4 decades now, and is very fast in producing cheap hardware, but they are not working in the software area. Most of the software is produced in the Western world, so the concept of open hardware is a commodity from the Western world for them. It's free, you can put it on the device, but what does it mean? How does the community work? How do we interact with the community? It's a completely new way of thinking for them. And the idea of this summit was to bring community people together with these business people and let them find a common basis to talk on and to interact. And that was what we intended, and I think we were successful. What do you think?
I think it was very successful, and there were the hardware manufacturers, like the major brands, were really, you know, we are hiring. If you are open source developer, please join our company, because they are really just opening up. I think some of them, like people from major companies, have understood that it's also a great opportunity also for small and medium-sized companies. They are realizing that their customers are shifting to China, and they are looking for new ways to keep in touch or to develop new products. And they are clearly seeing that open source can add a lot of innovation from outside into the process. But sometimes it's really funny to realize that they have absolutely no idea of how it works. I can give you a short example. We were doing a presentation, or Marek and Simon were presenting the Batman on top of some cheap routers, and some businessman asked me, do you manufacture this product? And I said, no, you manufacture this product. It's just off the shelf. You know, you can take an access point which is produced here in Taiwan or in China. Ah, okay, so do you sell the software? And I said, no, it's free software. You can download it from the internet. It's open source software. And I think that at least 1/3 of the people we were talking to had a similar way of having no clue about open source or open source culture. It's the same with the students, who are of course good software developers and engineers, and many of the projects are making use of open source software or are based on open source software one way or the other. And then they are developing some kind of optimization or other things. And then I asked them, so did you redistribute your software to SourceForge, or did you make it public, making use of the GPL? And they said no. But it's interesting to see that within this no, it's not a bad will sometimes. It's just also being very shy and not really believing that somewhere out there in the world could be interested in the work they are doing. So we heavily try to engage them to open their minds, and I think at the end of the conference the feedback from the students who had been joining us was really good, and they are really willing to proceed within the open source community now. And do you think this is true, or do you think that they just say they will do it like you said before?
That is hard to predict. We have to see and wait what's coming, what are the next steps. I already talked to some of the people back there what the next steps are, and I think we will continue discussions once I'm back in Taiwan, and then we will see how it evolves. I mean, let me point out one other major topic on this conference was that the Taiwanese and Chinese manufacturer or people often have in mind, oh, it's open software, it's free software, so I give away my software so I can't make money with that. That is why they often are afraid of this part of open source. And so when I open up my hardware, I also give my hardware away, so I don't make any money at all. So one of the main topics also was to show new business models, how to make money with open source and why you still can make money with open source. And one of the main examples is ASUS and the EPC, which is very important because it's a Taiwanese company which is actually very successful with the product and with open source on top of that product. And they are making a lot of money with the EPC. So they were one of our major supporters in this conference, but we have many more that joined during the conference and already said they would help us in the next conference because they see there is something going on and they want to join this process. And Jürgen spoke to many of them, and I think the main idea was widely accepted.
Yes, it was very, very widely accepted, really. Those people, once they got the point and once they start to see that, of course, even though they are opening up in some ways, they also get a lot from outside, from the communities, and especially smaller and medium-sized companies are also very interested in this process because they are realizing that many of the traditional OEM business is being moved to China, and they see a strategic momentum in opening up their devices to explore new markets on the one hand, like new products can come out that they haven't thought of. Also, the whole Pan-Asian distribution channels have to be established. In the future, I think especially the developing countries will be a very important market to them. But also they see that there's a lot of innovation going on in the community and they want to be part of it. And I can tell that I spent every day talking to many of those people, and in the end those who got it were really keen to find people they can work with, and that's another hard issue because as the open source community isn't that widespread and there are not so many people until today, they are really getting into a competition of finding and hiring those people, and that's really interesting to see that there's a great demand for open source developers.
I think that was a great summary for this event. We will have another event next year. If you want to help us, if you want to join us, if you have ideas, projects, whatever, then just contact us on our mailing list or on our wiki or IRC channel. We have the usual way of contacting our group, and feel free to join us. We are an open group, we are open for everything. Thank you.
Thanks.